So in this coaching session, we're going to cover how to play with hero augments. I think there are a lot of beginner mistakes that people make when taking this, and it's actually very simple, but I see people make this mistake all the time. So hopefully after watching this, no one makes this mistake anymore, and then we could go on to greater and better things. But let's just get right into this. So we start off the game, it's Victor's Galaxy. We have a Kog'Maw early. Other patches, this could be good. This patch, not going to be that great. Kog'Maw, not my favorite unit right now, but he definitely does have his uses. If you get specifically Rage Blade and Gambler's Blade, he's absolutely incredible. But unless you get one of those starts and you have to hold on to him, it's like you didn't make interest from him before. I have other 3-cost units I'd rather see, you know. But again, that's going to be dependent on the patch. You just have to kind of see what comps are good and see if they fit in those comps right now. And right now, Rageblade builds are really good with Twitch and Kog'Maw. Zeri can use it too. There are a couple other users of it, but in general, since Twitch isn't that great, like Kog'Maw is going to suffer a little bit more, you know. And Kog'Maw himself, like in the Watcher Sniper comp with Automata, very powerful normally, but right now, again, there are better things to go. But picking up some random stuff here, we have the 2 Luxes and the Zyra. I'd look up into picking up this Leona. You could possibly go Academy Sentinels. We have one other Sentinel here, so it's not too bad. I'd probably sell the powders to kind of fit that, or sell the Kog'Maw. Kind of not that great. So we have One for All Survivor. I don't like Survivor, yeah. Reroll that one. We have, I don't mind Power Up here. One for All. I don't really think we're in that good of a spot for a 1-cost reroll. Oh, I'd probably just take Over Encumbered here. We're on Victor's Galaxy, so again, 6 costs are going to show up a bunch, but yeah, like Over Encumbered, just a very solid augment. You just get a bunch of items. Whoa, Steb. Okay. So, for Steb augment, I'd prefer to have like a 2-star Steb, if not at least a pair of Stebs. We just had one of them on the bench, or this player only had one of them. But yeah, you could get away with this, but I highly, highly prefer playing with a lot more Stebs in a lot of cases. I know hero augments are fun. I know they're like interesting to play and it's different from other parts of TFT that you normally do, but you can't play them unless you have the units for them. And I don't think this is the best setup for it, because even though you have the items for it, because Archangel's pretty decent on it, you just need more Stebs, because if you get 3-star Steb very, very quickly, you could just snowball the game completely. And there is other good options too. So normally when I look at games, I'm like, okay, sure, you might get unlucky with the augments and you have to pick one even though it's not that great, or like you don't have the best spot for it, but there's a perfectly fine other option there in Over Encumbered. So I probably would have just taken that. Like again, they didn't even have a lot of bruisers. They just got the Trundle 2-star, but that's more from like luck, you know. It's not so much from picking it in a good spot. But even if you had like a 2-star Trundle and maybe a set to pair with it just to get a ton of bruisers, I'd probably still avoid this. So this rating, it's in Diamond right now, this player. So if you're like maybe Platinum, I think you could just hard force the hero augment and get away with it most of the time. But I think once you reach Diamond, you need to pick your spots a little more carefully. Don't just hard force comps as soon as you see an augment for it, because it could get a little dicey. But let's see how this player navigates around this. They have the Archangels. Couple of different builds you could do with this for your Steb. Normally people are doing the 6 Bruiser and then they go Bloodthirster, Archangel, and then 1 extra item. Sometimes it could be like a Jeweled Gauntlet. Sometimes it could be like a Titan's Resolve, a tank item, like literally anything. A lot of things work, but that's what I would recommend. Again, you could find the latest builds for this because I include all the hero augment builds on the website, bunnymuffins.lol/meta. And if you want to check even deeper, go to teamfight.lol for TFT stats. But okay, that's a good sign. Using the team planner, you know me, I love it when players use a team planner. It's just a very simple way to get your bearings in order, and you just don't get confused for the rest of the game on what units you want to buy. So they're going to be doing a lot of bruisers, and they're also going to find one other secondary carry. It looks like they're leaning towards Gangplank right now. You'll have to see what items drop. They're also adding in a Vi. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely possible. You definitely want Enforcer to be active. This is one way to get that going. So they are 1 and 2 right now. Or sorry, 2 and 1 right now, but they don't have Steb 2 yet. On this carousel, what items would you all get? Pop quiz. For me, I'd probably get a sword. I think that's going to be the most difficult to get component, and also if you do end up going Gangplank, he could definitely use the swords as well. Going Negatron's perfectly fine too, because getting some tank items in your bruiser is also not bad. But let's see what options are available, because they are third pick. And yeah, like only 2 pairs of Steb or 1 pair of Steb at this stage in the game. It's really not where you want to be. You could also go for a Rod, but I'd probably go for the Negatron Cloak here. I prioritize Bloodthirster over the Jeweled Gauntlet, but yeah, Rod's fine. I can't really argue too much with that. It also does come on 2 gold instead of 1 gold, but I think I'd prefer the Negatron, but honestly both work. I don't think this is that crucial of a difference, but if anything, like there might be some games where you do want the Rod that badly, but for me, I'm just a huge Bloodthirster fan with this build because I want my Steb to kind of go infinite. But as far as major mistakes so far, I'd say just picking Steb Augment to begin with, that's like the major mistake, but everything else, it's not too game breaking, you know? Probably should pick up this Rennie. I think we could probably sell some other stuff to fit this Rennie. So I like what they're doing. They are making 30 gold, and I do want to make 30 gold, but I think we could have sold the powder and both the Maddies to play this Rennie, because I prioritize getting bruisers more than enforcer. I know we sacrifice the next 2 rounds if we do that, but we do really need to make 30 gold, so I want to keep the Rennie. So selling the other people I think is perfectly fine. Like some people like doing Maddie plus Steb and do like a duo carry, but we don't really have any items for this Maddie, so I don't know if that's going to work out that well. We also don't have like that many copies of Maddie that I wouldn't really mind kind of doing that. Normally, again, when you take the hero augment, you have a lot of copies of that particular unit, so oftentimes you don't have enough time to reroll both Steb and someone else at 1 cost. So there's a slight difference because in this game we didn't have any Steb, so maybe we hit both of them at the same time and we could get Maddie 3-star. But all the picks in the shop look fine right now. It's a little unlucky. This player was scouting around a bit, and a couple of other people are just running Stebs just because they probably found it in their early game and are just using it for early game. So it's going to be a little tricky this game. I wonder what place they're going to get. Everyone guess now in the comments. Actually, let's wait until after the Golem stage to see what items drop, and then we'll do a guess there. Because right now, normally I'd have a Steb 2 already, or like 4 copies of Steb. And instead, we used 5 rounds to get to the point we're in, and we only have 3 of them. So if I were playing this, like I just would never be in this position. So we'll have to see how they kind of get out of this. So they do an early roll. I would not have done that. I would just wait to see what the golems drop, because oftentimes if you get up to 50 gold, you could have had potentially 1 more gold to play with because you made that extra interest, you know? I feel like you could do the full roll down. Yeah, like we probably could have made interest here if we had the extra 2 gold and sold this powder as well. So yeah, not the best displayed game so far. Whoa, what's happening? Okay. I'll let them cook a bit. I'll comment afterwards, but they're going to do their roll down now. Let's see what they get. Yeah, not getting many of the champions. I know you could write this off as unlucky, but I'm going to say it, like, we wouldn't be in the spot to begin with if we pick this augment if we had more copies of Steb, or just avoid the augment completely, because you're seeing the pain of it right now. Now I want you all to go to the comments. What place do you think this player is going to get? I'm not feeling that great right now. Like my tum-tum hurts a little bit after seeing that. All right. For items though, if you were going for the Maddie, I would have kept the swords, because it definitely does, like you'll have 1 sword for Bloodthirster and then the other sword for Maddie, so it's not that bad. But you could probably get away with going the Hextech Gunblade here. I'd for sure build the Sunfire Cape, the belt and chain, and then the other items, it's like you could go hat, you could go Hextech Gunblade. I don't really like either of them. If I were forced to pick an item, I'd probably build the Hextech Gunblade, just because hat, you don't really need it that much because you already have a Archangel Staff. And here, okay, probably not that. Raining, I mean, I don't completely fault them for this, but I probably would have taken long distance pals. But Raining Gold just feels bad. I'm not saying it's like, after re-rolling long distance, Raining Gold probably is the only option there. But Raining gold feels really bad because if you're doing a reroll comp, I think I touched on this in the last episode of my coaching videos from yesterday. You don't really want to have an econ augment to complement this with, because what ends up happening is that, like, when you are supposed to play a reroll comp, you're supposed to natural the units, so you don't even need a reroll augment to help you get to that point. But in this particular game, like, we don't have any copies of the units, so maybe the econ augments helps, but then you're just down an augment, you know? So that feels pretty bad. I would also like to see items being slammed, like Sunfire Cape, very good item with bruisers because the fights last so long, but I really wonder why this player skipped out on long distance pals. Normally, if you play a comp that only cares about 2 units, which this comp kind of does, like, long distance is not bad, you know? It's like, it's not the best comp ever, but, or sorry, not the best augment ever, but it definitely is usable compared to the options that were kind of offered from before. So yeah, if I had to guess what place this person gets, and I could be wrong, it has to be like a 6 or something, you know? Judging from the diamond player we saw yesterday, I think that player played at a much higher level. And skipping Rennie, okay, why did we skip Rennie? We have it in the team planner, we have 1 Rennie on board. I would have bought the Rennie. So we need to buy the units that we put in our team planner that belong to the comp. I know you're waiting to all in for Steb, but it's gonna be a while. Like, you could just wait and all in on stage 4-1. And in the meantime, you could just pick up all the other units instead and try to use that to kind of build up your board with. Like, I don't really know how else to say that. But again, this is very awkward because we used the Reforger from before. And because of that, like, you're supposed to build items after you use a Reforger. If not, you should just save it. So I don't know if they're just praying to get the perfect item. Well, first off, I would not have reforged, but even after you reforge, you can't just like pray to get a perfect item with it, because it's going to be like a 1 in 7 chance, or maybe like if you have 2 or 3 outs, it'll be like a 2 in 7, or I forget how many item components there are. It's like 7 or 8, but it's just praying, you know? You shouldn't have to rely on that. And after you do it, you probably should build something. Like, we probably should have just built the Hextech Gunblade and just had an extra rod to finish off the last item with. Like, we could have had maybe Hextech Gunblade, Archangel Staff, and then maybe the Jeweled Gauntlet or something, you know? It's not the best build, but it is what it is based on the items the game kind of gave you. So now we took a cloak off carousel. We could have taken this cloak beforehand, but we did not know what items were going to drop off that golem round. But we're going to roll down a bit, or they are going to roll down a bit, and okay, good, they build the Bloodthirster, drop it on the step, and no, I mean, hat isn't bad, but it's just, you waited so long and then now you build it. I don't really think it's worth it. If we were on like a super win streak, sure, I would build it, but since they waited so long already to not build it, like, it's just not worth building it, you know? You might as well just wait for perfect items. You could build like an Ionic Spark on one of your other bruiser units. They'll be able to get great value off of it because they're going to be tanky, and then you could save the Jeweled Gauntlet for that last slot. But it's not the end of the world. It just could be a little better. So in terms of like major mistakes, we're still at the 1 from before. We'll see if anything else happens. Like, everything else, it's okay. Like, I would probably expect a diamond player to kind of play like this, but I guess that's another thing you could let me know. So far, from what you've been seeing from both last game and this game, is this diamond level, or is it better? Is it worse normally? Because I haven't really played there personally, so I don't actually know literally everything about it. But if you're in diamond, like, would you have done things differently? Do you know things that this player doesn't, and does this player know things that you don't? That could be an interesting activity for some people in the comments. But scouting around a bit, there are a couple of other bruiser players that's kind of annoying. I don't think they're like maining bruiser, they're just playing it in the meantime, but a lot of people are holding steps. That's kind of unlucky. Sometimes I do that if I see someone has the hero augment for something, but I don't go out of my way to do it. It's just, if I happen to hit it, like, of course I'm gonna play it. But let's see how this step does. Positioning wise, like, I actually like positioning my Steb in the early game on the very edge because he has like the life seal component, so he gets a little bit more value out of it. But the way this matchup worked against this specific player. Like Steb got damaged, so it's all good. He ended up getting value from it anyways, but they are going to lose this round, it looks like, unless this Archangel goes crazy. Nope, unlucky, and they end up losing this round. So we built the hat, lost the next 2 rounds. That's really, really bad because it's not really an item you want after building Archangel staff. It's like too much ability power, you know? You'd rather get multiplier items. So they're going to all in this turn or next turn, and hopefully they'll hit. They probably will, but it's not that great though, because again, they took Raining Gold, which is an econ augment. So if they don't hit next turn, like they go 8th, right? And if they do, it's not a guaranteed top 4 by any means, because again, like you're only supposed to play reroll comps if you actually have the units for them, in which case you don't need any help hitting them. So these items, not bad. Let's see what happens. All right, get the step, nice. Probably give up on the Trundle. He's not that critical to the comp. Yeah, so level up, drop that in, good. All right, we need to find some sort of secondary carry and also find the 6 Bruiser. Vow's decent because, whoa, okay. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. So normally I like saving my removers a bit, but in this case, like using them's fine because we're going 1 comp, we're not flexing, so we don't actually need the removers for the late game. So this is perfectly fine. And Protector's Vow, great item for Elise, so you definitely should be building it. And I probably would have put the Sunfire Cape and Protector's Vow on Nunu though. I think Nunu's a bit more tanky than than Rennie. I know getting the mana item on Rennie's pretty good because they have a stun, so you kind of get that effect a little bit quicker, but maybe we could have done Sunfire Cape on Nunu and then Protector's Vow on Rennie. I don't like splitting items. I like putting my items on the same champions, but I think exceptions can be made for Protector's Vow. All right. Probably not. Whoa. Okay. They really like Call to Chaos. Interesting. Okay. So I don't know if they needed to take a big risk here because a lot of the Call to Chaos rewards are like econ heavy, and like we just did not want that at all. So it's a little risky to take. Well, it always is risky to take, but in this case, I think especially so, since a lot of the ones that could have showed up might have been really, really bad. Like triple Sniper's Focus is bad. Triple Hullbreaker doesn't really help you out that much. All the econ ones don't really help you out that much. So I don't know what they were looking for in Call to Chaos, like a random emblem of some sort. Like I forget which ones it gives, but I can think of a lot of the different Call to Chaoses that just don't help this player. So I would have just taken I'm the Carry now, or maybe even Belt Overflow. There just wasn't anything like that enticing. They actually lucked out. Getting the Thieves Glove is actually pretty good because we have a lot of bruisers in front with a lot of health, and they probably could make decent use of these items. But yeah, so augment choices, like, I mean, some of the augment choices wasn't this player's fault, but I'd say that's the weakest point of this person's game. Everything else seems fine. Like, Econ's pretty decent. They recognized early on in stage 2 that they needed to make 30 gold. I would have made 30 gold in a different way, but at least they recognized that it was really important to make that threshold based on the units they were offered. But right now, like, we're just focused on power leveling. Yeah, just level up here. Throw in, yeah, sure, another Rennie. Maybe you could pick up Swain or something, drop Swain in, play some form swappers later on, potentially. I guess you don't need the Swain yet. I thought he had Gangplank for some reason, but not yet. Soon. But right now, they're in 2nd place. They're not in a bad spot, honestly. I would probably put my Steb on the sides of the map, though. Maybe Steb can kind of wrap around to their backline. Like, dead center, they're going to be focusing tanks a lot, which is fine, but I think the chance of like walking to the back line is too good to pass up on. Whenever I have like a melee carry, I normally put them on the edge. So unless there's some dark tech where Steb is in the front and center, I would personally just put them on the side. But I don't think there's any dark tech like that right now. Like I haven't played too much with this augment, but it works mainly just like how every other melee 1-cost hero augment in the game works, where you generally want to just put them on the side, especially in the mid game when they're strong, when they're 3-star. You want them taking damage and kind of like carrying from the side. So normally in the super duper late game, your melee carries, you could hide them a bit, or you might want to hide them a bit because damage is so high in the super late game. But right now it's not super late game, and they're actually at a power spike, so this Steb is at like a higher power level than like most other team comps right now. So you don't really need to protect them that much. All right, so they get a Thieves Gloves here. Yeah, that's fine. They could build they could build a 4th Thieves Gloves. Is that good? I mean, it's probably not bad. There's definitely some users that could end up using it. Yeah, sure, just build it, whatever. Put it on the extra Rennie, because you're probably not going to go Rennie 3, so you're going to sell that Rennie anyways, and then you could move it to whoever you want later on. Can they level up? How much gold do they have? 44. They'll have 36, or no, 26. Yeah, probably wait off on leveling, and just level at stage 5. It's gonna be, you want to level and roll because we need Elise, and that's gonna get us to 6 bruiser. Huge power spike there, but I don't want to just roll like 26 gold to 0 and have like 0 econ for the rest of the game. Granted, with raining gold, it's less punishing to roll to 0, but I just prefer not to do it anyways because they're pretty healthy. They're 68 life. I think they could kind of wait around a little bit. Yeah, they probably could. I guess one thing to note on whether you want to put the Steb on the side or in the center is that they do have an Archangel. So putting them in the center to be the last to die does help a little bit. But I'm pretty sure just having them tank for a lot of your team in the meantime definitely does have more value than that. Let's see what they get. If you get like some sort of tank, if you get some sort of tank augment or tank anomaly, whoa, they probably could have taken the other one. I mean, this one's pretty good too. What are they looking for? I mean, I'll let them cook first. Let's see what they end up. Okay, they just want Ultimate Hero. I mean, is Ultimate Hero the best one? Yes, but I think they could have taken Slime Time. It probably isn't that bad. I personally have not taken specifically Steb with Slime Time, but because it's so rare to play the hero augments and then you have to get that specific anomaly, and I'm looking for Ultimate Hero in general, but I feel like Slime Time was definitely takeable because you have so much ability power and it's a melee champion. Like if it's not good on this person, then I don't know who would be good on, in which case they would have deleted the augment or the anomaly already or buffed it. But going into the next round, they're in a very good position now. Now I'm changing my bets from before where I thought they were going to go 6. Now I think they're going to go like maybe third, because they are going to make it to the 4-star, and that's going to be super duper duper powerful. Not the best augments, but you know, it is what it is. If they're able to go to a high level, like what they're looking for in stage 5 is just getting a 6 bruisers and then finding some way to get to level 9 and then playing legendaries in stage 6. What you want to do right now is kind of sack your game until you get to 3-star Steb, so you could just econ permanently. And then when your Steb gets to 4-star, you spike there, get to 6 bruiser, and you'll be dominating everyone for the rest of those rounds. So it's just like a couple more turns, but they're gonna roll right now. I mean, it's fine. Oh, just get the Warwick and chill? I'd probably just chill. Because again, you're in like a power troph right now. Oh, skipping Caitlyn. Probably would have taken Caitlyn. Maybe you could get Caitlyn too with some items. But whenever you're in a power troph, you don't want to be spending your gold that aggressively. You just want to wait until you get what you need and then spike after that. So I would have really liked to see, okay, interesting choice. I probably would have just done Giant Slayer Warwick and then kept the tank items on the bruisers, because the bruisers are so tanky that you just want to keep them alive as long as possible, and they get huge value from those items. So also, like the Protector's Vow, it's always going to go on Elise, and then you just build the Warwick later. Like you could just put a Thieves Gloves on Warwick right now and then just wait till you get like 3 actual items for him, and then he'll go ham. But yeah, I would not have done that with the items. I'd say that's like a minor mistake. Not like completely game breaking though, but I'd say the bigger like macro mistake would be not waiting till you have the 4-star. Also, like, since we're running Warwick and we're probably going to be running a lot of other legendaries, do we even need the Gangplank anymore? I probably would have sold the Gangplank to get some money, because they were missing an interest threshold, but not the end of the world. 1 gold in the late game, like in stage 5, gold doesn't matter anymore. The gold this player saved from making 30 gold in stage 2 was like exponential. It's like it's worth way more than 1 gold. But the 1 gold now, it's like losing out on that. Would I like to have it? Yes, but unless later on they're like 1 gold off something, it's like not gonna matter, because they're already at like 40 some gold, so they're making a lot of interest anyways. And also late game, like you have fewer rounds to kind of bank up the gold, so it doesn't really matter. But they do end up selling the GP anyways, so a little unfortunate there. But they're winning rounds before their anomaly is triggering. That's crazy because they're pretty much down in Augment and they're 50 gold. They haven't rolled, but for some reason they're able to compete with everyone else. And then now you have the 4-star. Like, they shouldn't be losing any more rounds in the future, right? So now I'm changing my prediction again. They're probably going to get first place at this point. I think everyone else in the game is just really weak. Maybe I'm not used to like seeing diamond lobbies. The one we saw yesterday, I think, was a bit stronger because I don't know. I feel like the step needed some combat augments to kind of beef him up because yeah, we haven't really been using the reigning gold that much because this player has been keeping 50 plus gold for like 90% of the turns that they had it. So they're essentially down in augment, but now they get to access a super late game by getting to level 9 most likely, and then having enough gold to probably roll down for some good stuff. I don't know what they're going to get, but you can never tell with the legendaries that you get in level 9 because it's random, right? Like, we can't always play around specific ones, but there are a couple of different outs. Like Caitlyn definitely could be viable. You could play Jace also for form swapper, so lots of different options there. It's also Victor's Galaxy, so you can see 6 costs a lot of times when you do a big roll down. So you might just drop in a Victor plus Warwick and then play 6 Bruiser, call it a day after that. You might not need to run many other things there. There is a Caitlyn there with the Jeweled Gauntlet. That could be viable. You could also go Sterix Gauge for your Warwick. I think you want to focus on itemizing your Warwick now. Like, you have enough tank items with all the Thieves Gloves on your Bruisers, so just itemizing perfect item Warwick would be the priority here. So yeah, unlucky that their last pick, but I guess also lucky because, I mean, that means they have a lot of health, right? But yeah, they get the Sterix. Very nice stuff. See, now you have to use the other item removers on Warwick, so you have to use it twice. Again, like, maybe it doesn't matter this game because they're playing the same comp no matter what, but there might be some weird scenarios where you want to kind of transfer everything around. So just put those items, no, put them on Elise, both of them on Elise, because now you have to use another one to kind of fix him, right? Yeah, potentially, like, we're going to miss out on moving some Thieves Gloves later on if we do end up hitting a bunch of 2-star legendaries, but I guess that's a good problem to have, right? Like, if you're, it's like asking, oh, if you have $1 million, like, it's going to be rough, right? You should have done, you have to pay taxes on it, right? But you still have a lot of money at the end of the day, right? All right, so is Warwick going to cook? They're facing off against, what is this? A Corki player with a 3-star Smeech. Is it enough? Wow, it's actually enough to beat this. Yeah, the 4-stars are absolutely crazy in terms of power, right? Like, we're just seeing these all the time, like, absolutely nuts. Well, the other player, I don't know what comp they're playing. I don't really know many Smeech Corki boards. I haven't encountered that many times in my life, so I guess when you are in this rating, there are still some, like, weird cooked comps that I don't normally see them in other games. But yeah, here it's just rinse repeat what they've been doing the past couple rounds. You could be like semi AFK because you're just waiting to get to level 9. But I've actually been surprised about most of this game. You know, I just realized, and I did not mean to do this. This is actually the same player from yesterday. Okay, so what are the mistakes that from yesterday? They made like 2 econ mistakes, an augment mistake, and then a comp mistake. Okay, there are some similarities, like, but I'd say like this game, it's mainly just augments. That's my bad though. I did not know it was the same player. I'll be sure to include someone else next time. I think they just submitted a bunch of games and then it just like flooded my VOD inbox or whatever you want to call it. But okay, that's good. Getting the Warwick. I guess another weird thing was like using like excessive use of removers. I feel like it could have been done in a different way because again, the Rennie that had the items before was like perfectly fine holding them because they're in the front line and you're running 6 bruisers, so you want to itemize the units that you're playing traits for. But yeah, right now it's just Victor plus Warwick in the back. You could even do the 6 cost trifecta, maybe go up another level and play, what's her name? I forgot what she's called, Mel. Just play all the 6 costs, screw it, just because it's Victor's Galaxy. And yeah, that definitely could be viable. Right now they're facing against a Rebel comp. Rebels are like pretty good right now on this patch if you haven't tried them yet, but yeah, 4-star, very interesting stuff. I wanted to cover this game because I don't think I've covered a hero augment game yet, so I definitely wanted to do that. And I think the main takeaway, if you don't like remember anything from this video except for this one thing, I'd consider it a success. If you ever do go for a hero augment, try it, unless it's like a completely bonkers hero augment and I'm saying like, oh, you must pick this every single time, which is pretty rare. If it's just like a solid hero augment like the Steb one that we see right now, only pick them if you already have a 2-star of them. And then that way, if you get the augment, you get an additional copy. You have 4 copies of them. You just need 5 more and you're like really good position for the rest of the game. The only exception is you could take it at 2 copies. That way, when you take the augment, it turns into a 2-star because you get the extra copy. And if you have like slammable items right away that are like best in slot for them. So there might be games where you have like 1 item component of each of their items that they want to build. I'd say that's not enough if you don't have enough copies. But if you do have enough items, just go for it. Take the augment and then just like start slamming the items and then use your 2-star unit to kind of navigate through the early game, because the whole point is that it helps you save a lot of HP in the early game, because oftentimes when you're playing reroll, most of the time reroll players are playing from a lose streak. So if you're able to save a ton of health by like win streaking with it in the early game, sometimes you still get a lot of gold because the hero augment with the slammed item is gonna like be too powerful for a lot of the stage 2 boards. So it depends like what other people are like rolling that game, because sometimes people are just really high roll for no particular reason, and sometimes people are really low roll, so maybe you don't even need a 2-star to win a bunch of games like we saw in this game here. But regardless, if you take a hero augment, you must have 2 requirements that you meet with them. One is either decent items with an existing 2-star of them, or perfect items and 2 copies of them, so that you take it and then you get a 2-star right away. But it's looking a little, I thought this was a guaranteed first after a bit, but they're losing a couple rounds here. What are they gonna get? You could go maybe Jeweled Gauntlet, swap the items over, but you could also just go Giant Slayer. They go Enforcer. Okay, I don't know if I like that much. I only take emblems if I'm going really deep into a trait, and right now we're just not going deep into a trait. Max you could get is like 4 Enforcer, which I don't think is that worth it. What are they going to roll for here? Just throw in a Savika maybe, or a Jace. Yeah, sure. And yeah, this Enforcer is not doing that much, so I would have much preferred to see like any other item. Like it literally could have been any other item on that carousel. I would have preferred that, just to put on whoever you have, right? The reason why is because like if you get to 4 Enforcer, it's not really buffing up Steb that much. And at this point in the game, I haven't really checked the damage charts. We'll have to look. Wow, that person has a 2-star Warwick, 2-star Jinx, 2-star Zoe, but really weird items on the Warwick: Jeweled Gauntlet, Handed Justice, and Protector's Vow. I gotta say, that is a very interesting item combo on Warwick. I don't think I've seen that before, but it's a 2-star, so it's cooking. Let's see if it makes this into a 2nd place game instead of 1st place game. The Steb is locked onto the backline, so maybe there's a chance. Nope. The 2-star Warwick is absolutely dominating. Holy cow, that's absolutely crazy. So they have one more chance to fix this up. Maybe what could possibly be better than this? Okay, so they have the Enforcer on their Warwick. Probably do the Sterix and the Giant Slayer, and then put the Quicksilver on maybe Elise, like not even trolling because they're in the front line. That's another Warwick. You don't even need to lock the shop though because it's oh whoa. So I don't know about that because I feel like Victor provides pretty decent value. AoE stun is very welcome, right? And Warwick is only good with items, so without items, I don't know if he's going to be accomplishing that much. Is there a way to position around this to kind of like trick the other player out? I don't really think so, right? I know the Warwicks are like stuck in the back line for a bit, but that's honestly not the end of the world. It's just that 2-star 6 cost is just so deadly. Wait, what? They're able to kill it this time? Can anyone tell me like what the difference was this fight? That's crazy. I guess that's a first place. But yeah, pretty much like TLDR of the video, only go for hero augment if you actually have that unit. I'd say that's like a very common beginner mistake, but all good.